You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 172. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnard, the Kingpin. The Kingpin shows up for the first time ever in comic book.
Yes.
This episode.
Yay! So, Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek, where you can check out this show, plus many other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Super Podcast on Magnifico, and Ultimate Facepalm at rhymeswithgeek.com. Comic Reflections is also available at backissueheroes.com, the home of classic comics on the web. If you enjoy our show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
All right.
So today's episode is Spidey-rific!
Yep.
And I think this is the first of several weeks where at least our Marvel content will be all Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And
the horrors.
What? Oh, dang it. Because I know this is Jeff's happy time.
Yeah, I like Spider-Man. Most people do.
Yeah, he is fun.
Yeah, there's some tropes and stuff he does that annoy me to no end, but it's all good.
Yeah, so the first issue we're going to talk about today is Amazing Spider-Man number 49. It's the June 1967 issue. And the story is called From the Depths of Defeat. This was written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Romita, and inked by Mike Esposito.
Okay. Great splash page. We see the two villains. New Vulture,
all right,
and Kraven the Hunter, the world's most improbable mustache. It's a porn stash and a soul patch together.
Oh yeah, he's got this weird reverse widow's peak goatee that kind of it becomes a soul patch.
And he has a widow's peak in his hair, so it's kind of, I don't know, it's like it makes an hourglass or something.
Yeah, it's really odd. Okay.
Yeah. Him and J. Jonah Jameson, have to fight over the worst mustache.
Yeah, I mean Jameson's has anyone after Hitler really carried around the Hitler stash?
I'm not sure. Nazi or neo-Nazi, I guess. No.
Yeah.
Or a Charlie Chaplin impersonator. But that's
sure. So this leaves off, I think, where we talked about last week, where Spidey had been fighting the Vulture, both of them, I think. Is that right? Or was he fighting Blackie Drago, the new Vulture?
Yeah, who kicked his butt.
Yeah, because he's got a cold or whatever. He had a 24-hour virus.
Yeah, and he's knocked out, and the splash page where we see all the people swimming in his head, he thinks he's about to die, and then he gets up and goes on.
Yeah. But it's in the snow. There's snow, and so it's wintertime in New York. And Kraven the Hunter becomes aware that there's a new Vulture and that he has just fought Spider-Man, and he's out to prove himself again as the world's greatest hunter and stuff.
He has the heads of animals he's captured on the wall. He has an elephant's head. That is hilarious.
Who mounts an elephant's head on the wall?
Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, especially because what's even more ridiculous is this guy doesn't live in America. So he's just visiting and he has all this crap that he takes with him?
Oh, man. Yeah. There's a great movie called The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. And for about 5 minutes, all it is footage of Colonel Blimp adding heads, animal heads, to the wall, and it's a gorgeous, beautiful scene and well filmed. It always reminds me of that. But an elephant's head on the wall. They're massive.
Yeah, they're a huge animal. I mean, and that's just all kinds of crazy to have an elephant's head on the wall.
How are you gonna get your flat screen TV on that wall?
Well, how would you even? I'm just thinking the wall brackets you'd need to mount that thing on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, an elephant's head has probably got to weigh a couple 100 pounds.
Oh,
easily
stuffed. Normally it's probably 500 or 1,000 pounds or something. They're so big.
They're huge, yeah. So he also has a tiger in a cage.
And he uses it. He practices fighting with a tiger. Which is great practice for fighting with a tiger.
Right.
I don't know what good that'll do against Oh man, but yeah, Craven is. Yeah, we talked about his weird costume, and
I mean, he's got like capri jeggings that he wears,
yeah,
with leopard print. He's got the spiked belt, his big cowl that's got like a lion face on it.
his outfit is a lion's head,
Yeah,
which
and
is
the mane is kind of a sort of a half cape.
yeah,
It's
man,
He's so goofy. I think
right.
he also drinks a serum that enhances his speed and stamina and crap.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so
Okay.
anyway, Anna Watson and Aunt May visit Peter and Harry at their apartment.
The problem is that Petey came back and he didn't get out of his costume, so he's afraid that they're gonna tear down the covers and see him in his costume.
Right.
And so that's a big part of it. And so one thing about Spider-Man, these little problems that you would have,
Yeah.
and this is a real problem. If
Right.
there were superheroes, this would be a problem in real life, and probably a common one. And it's kind of cool.
It would be. At the same time, Spider-Man already has a lot of notoriety, and Spider-Man's costume does look like pajamas. He could, if that happened, he could just say he got some Spidey pajamas, and Aunt May would believe it. She'd believe anything he'd say.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Although they're too form-fitting to be pajamas.
Yeah.
But
is she
pajamas are always loose because you're trying to sleep and you want to be comfortable.
right? But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Saying,
Aunt
I
May.
bought these, but they're a little tight, but I still like them.
But you never see Aunt May like given the third degree really asking questions.
Thank goodness.
She wonders about stuff, but
Yeah.
But yeah.
She's nice, but God, her getting sick over and over. And thankfully, she's not sick. It's Petey who's sick this time. So.
Yeah. So anyway, he's thinking about what he's got to do. The Vulture's still out there, and I think he hears Craven's on the loose on the radio or something.
Right.
So the new Vulture, Blackie Drago.
He airjacks or skyjacks a helicopter,
Yeah.
which would be super hard. I want to just wait until the chopper lands.
Right. Well, because he's an aerial supervillain, he's got to do that in midair because it looks cool. But the thing is, it's not like you could really carry much. Your wings are attached to your arms. If he had like shoulder mounted, or like
utility belt with a little hook or something? No, it's not.
yeah. I mean,
yeah. Why do we have to think of these things? Why do these supervillains? They're sitting around thinking they should think of these things themselves.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy show up, and they're looking fine.
At Peter and Harry's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not messing with the Vulture.
Well, I just want to make sure that
yeah.
we. So, also back at the Daily Bugle, Frederick Foswell, who was formerly the Big Man, is snooping around with stuff. Jameson's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Yeah, and I like him. He's a great character.
He is.
Oh man, Mary Jane is kooky and a little bit too kooky.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying.
Well, it's Gwen is the nice, sweet girl. Okay, she's a good girl, and then Mary Jane's the party girl. They want to have that dichotomy because they don't want them all to just be cutouts. But yeah, Mary Jane is really over the top with, "Hey, Dad." She calls people Dad, and it's kind of like beatnik lingo.
Yeah.
That she uses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It's something else. Okay. So the Vulture meets Craven. Craven's ticked off because the Vulture beat Spider-Man, and that's Craven's job is to beat Spider-Man. So they fight, and it's a good fight.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to see two villains go at it, or also it's interesting to see two heroes, and who do you pull for?
Yeah, I think it's. Yes, it's always cool to see that.
I don't know who do I pull for. Craven, I mean, he's an okay villain. I just don't like him. He's not. The new Vulture, Blackie Drago.
Yeah.
Which means Black Dragon, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
He's just a punk.
Yeah, and Craven is this guy. He's like a big, a world famous big game hunter, and he's killed every animal on Earth basically, and now he wants the most exciting prey of all, Spider-Man. So it's not like it's about like getting money for Kraven,
Mm-hmm.
which sets him apart from other villains. It's all about pride.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Indeed. So, a huge
then,
fight. All
and,
three of them fight.
yeah, Spidey shows up and they fight, and it's great. And then so the Vulture and Kraven decide to team up.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Kraven has this weird thing on his costume. He shoots out like a paralysis
On
beam
his
or something.
nipples. It's kind of
On the eyes of the lion on his vest.
yeah. And the accident zaps
The Vulture. Yeah.
Okay. Fight.
Then Spidey tears off the zapping ray on his chest, so that's done.
Mm-hmm.
And then he beats them both up and webs them up and leaves them for the cops.
Yeah. And Spidey comes back to his room. Doctor comes in. Everything's fine. Yay. Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Amazing Adventures in House Ad. The Beast.
And that's the Beast from the X-Men. That's the storyline where the Beast became more animalized. It happened in that series. Just want to note that house ad is from the early 70s,
Mm-hmm.
but we're reading a story from the late 60s. I have referenced it as Amazing Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
number 49, but really this is an issue of Marvel Tales reprinting that issue. So
Okay.
I got to point that out whenever you talk about house ads because they won't match.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Sorry.
no, I'm just saying. So the next comic we've got to talk about is Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 8 from 1971, and both all the stories in here, of course, are reprints. We're a little our timeline's a little off because the lead story takes place before Spidey and Harry get that apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final story in the issue is after that, so bear with us here. But the lead story is The Sinister Shocker, which is a reprint from Amazing Spider-Man number 46 from 1967, written by Stan Lee with art by John Romita, Sr. Of course,
Okay.
as John Jr. would have been 11 years old in 1967.
Okay. All right. Okay, big fight between Shocker and Spider-Man. And Spider-Man gets his block knocked off.
Yeah. Now the Spider-Man has an injured his arm. He's got it in a sling,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes and he investigates a robbery that's being committed by the Shocker, this new villain. And the Shocker has this costume that's insulated, and he has these gadgets on his gloves that project these vibro shocks, and so he's vibrations.
You can open safes this way and knock down walls. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it is cool. I think the Shocker's a fun villain.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up quite a bit in Spider-Man.
Okay. And here we see Foswell.
Yeah, back over at the Daily Bugle, Frederick Foswell's snooping. He thinks there's something is up with the connection between Spidey and Peter Parker, and so he tails Parker
Yeah.
as his under his alias as the underworld snitch Patch.
Yeah. Yeah, he works at a newspaper, and he's the only reporter who's noticed this. It's really... Yeah, no wonder J. Jonah Jameson's got a bad attitude.
I think Robbie Robertson kind of knows.
Maybe, yeah. He's probably the best person in the whole Spider-Man thing.
Oh yeah, you want
Most
Robbie Robertson
noble
because he's just he has a very Gregory Peck or what's the
Yeah, Gregor.
what's the guy who's coming to Sidney Poitier? He kind of has that immense dignity that he carries with him, and he's just a man of great decency,
He's working at the wrong place, isn't he?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he makes a perfect foil or diffuser for Jameson.
Yeah.
So,
And maybe he thinks that he's trying to be a break to Jameson's stupidity or something.
I don't know.
A lot of Jameson's stuff is stupid.
yeah,
Going after Spider-Man is just ignorant, I think.
no, it's true. And it's willful ignorance. But I think the Daily Bugle cast in general is one of the better supporting casts in comics.
Yeah.
It's just really fun. You're interested in these relationships and the dynamic between them.
Really good ones. I mean, okay, we had the Superman family.
Yeah,
which is good.
The Daily Planet group, but
I can't think of anything else as varied and.
Well, you never see anyone have like big arguments with Perry White or anything. He just sends Jimmy or Lois out on things.
They occasionally do, and then they have a wacky adventure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any. Because, Fantastic Four, they have a couple of girlfriends. That's about it.
Well, but then they have such an extended cast of, are we going to run into the Inhumans? Are we going to go to the Negative Zone? Or, we're going to go see Agatha Harkness. So, they have an extended cast of a lot of characters that were introduced in the Fantastic Four rather than getting their own books at the time.
Yeah. That's about it. Everybody else sort of...
Yeah.
Iron Man has a couple of guys helping them, and Pepper Potts, and that's about it.
Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan are a good supporting cast, and then James Rhodes, of course, Rhodey.
But this is huge. It's kind of big, and well done, and a lot of cool characters. Even Flash turns out to be okay.
Yeah, and I like that Flash has an arc.
Mm-hmm.
He's not so one note that he was just a jerk forever.
He was a jerk, and then he was a jerk who liked Spider-Man. And then he goes to Vietnam, and then comes back, and he's okay.
Yeah,
and which is kind of cool.
That's like a real person.
Yeah,
he experiences growth.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jameson mellows to a not massively, but to a degree over the years.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, in the 80s or the late 80s, early 90s, he lost the Bugle, started a news magazine. Got the Bugle back, whatever. He's the mayor of New York in Marvel Comics currently.
I have not seen any of those. Are they any good?
Yeah, they're not bad.
Oh, man.
And J. Jonah Jameson's father is married to Aunt May now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Okay, all right. We get the origin story of the Smasher.
The Shocker.
Excuse me. Smasher sounds better, I think. Okay. All right. Well, he's smashing things, so he's shocking, isn't it? Okay. So we had the origin story of the Shocker. He's a safe cracker. He gets caught. He's in prison, and we all know that prisons have this wonderful laboratory system, so people can invent wonderful devices. It's just really amazing. What we ought to do is put all the inventors in the prisons. It'd be 2200 AD.
Do you remember how in the Silver Age Superman comics, Luthor would go to prison and he's like good behavior, so he's working in the machine shop in prison and takes a radio and builds like a death ray or something out of it.
I wouldn't put...
Or he builds a radio where he's able to get in contact with someone in the future or in the Phantom Zone or whatever. You remember that?
Yeah, those are great.
That's why I love DC Comics. They're so wacky.
Yeah, and it's great. If I was a prison warden, I wouldn't let them even do the laundry room. I wouldn't let them do anything. I wouldn't let them grow stuff in their garden. I wouldn't let them...
Yeah.
No machinery.
No. Because Lex Luthor, the world's greatest criminal mind.
Yeah.
You don't mess around with that.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because, how villains get away.
Not a bad, and it's not a bad old thing. He almost hurts himself the first time, so he's got to build a protective vest. And it's really cool. So, let's see. Okay, so what'd you think of the Shocker's outfit?
It's kind of cool. I mean, I noticed in this printing of it, the colors washed out. You're not seeing the orange. I think the color separation made a goof because in the end of the issue, it's a plating error. Okay, with the color separation, but it looks kind of like a Snow White, but really it's and blue, but really it's an orange and brown. But I like the Shocker's outfit. I think it's functional and it looks like a costume also.
And it looks like a costume that you would wear if you're the Shocker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's going on back at Peter with Pete and Aunt May and everything?
Oh, Aunt May sees that Peter hurt his arm and she's real concerned. That's what Aunt May does.
Right.
So here comes. They go to a party.
And it looks like MJ and Harry and Flash are there.
And Gwen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you always disappointed with parties and movies or dancing? It always just never seems right. And I don't think it's hard to catch a party or a dance place in a comic book.
A club. Yeah, club or rock concerts in movies, they always look fake.
Mm-hmm.
They like
I'm not
that's
sure why, but
because there is a natural way that those look,
mm-hmm.
and people try to jazz it up or Hollywood it up, or someone is making the film who has never really experienced those things, and it shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Flash is still defending Spidey.
Right. I think he's
about to go to
Nam.
Yeah. Oh, here is Patches, or is it Patch?
Patch.
Yeah. Patches is that some song, country song
by Alabama. Patches, I'm depending on you, son.
Oh, yeah. It's not a bad song. I'm not an Alabama fan.
Alabama is pretty cornball, but they have some good songs, and that's one of them.
The state sucked. I'm sorry.
The state of Alabama.
Oh man, I went to Selma and it was a cesspool.
Was it?
I was shocked. So.
I haven't been. Not really on my high on my
list.
list.
Arkansas too.
Okay.
I like the South, but I didn't like those parts of the South. I'm sure there's good parts. But,
yeah. Anyway, Patch the Stoolie, who is Foswell, Frederick Foswell.
I like that story arc. It's really cool.
Well, it was so neat because Foswell turned out to be the big man. He went to prison. He came back, and Jameson gave him another chance.
Yeah.
So he actually, it's interesting because Jameson is so blustery, but he actually does have a heart somewhere.
Sometimes.
He does care about people.
But I think he hired him because it'd work cheaper or something.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is he a good guy, Jameson?
I think Jameson is like an onion. He's got layers to him.
Yeah, I don't think
and that's why he's interesting.
He is an adversary. I think he does have good in him, but I think he's got a lot of bad. He's very petty.
He is petty and cantankerous, but we can't stop talking about him.
That's true.
So, whatever he is, he's a good character.
Okay, so Spidey goes after the Shocker and fight. And,
it's great, though.
Yeah, it is.
The Spidey gums up his vibro-shock units, or he webs them so he can't press down on the vibro-shock units on his gloves. He webs his thumbs up so he can't press down on them.
That's I was so impressed when I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, and there he is, orange. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Everything's going okay. I think. Let's see. All right, so we get to the important part of Petey's life. He's moving out of the house.
Yeah.
And he was worried about talking to Aunt May. And Aunt May was worried that she's going to live with...
Anna Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really quite fortuitous. And...
yeah, so everything worked out okay.
Yeah,
but then Petey's feeling sad about that, for crying out loud.
But it's interesting because Norman Osborn is footing the bill for Harry and Peter to have this apartment near Empire State University where they're going to school. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be kind of cool. And it was already happening in some earlier issues we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But so we're a little out of sequence here.
Peter kind of feels bad later on in some issues that he's kind of mooching off. But hey, Norm Jr. says, I'm getting it for free, so why not? And I need a friend, so, what the devil?
Yeah.
Because I'm like...
Harry's a good kid who always tried to do good by his father, who basically ignored him.
Yeah, doesn't he become the Goblin?
Well, Norman Osborn has already become the Goblin, and the Goblin is in remission, so to speak.
Right, no, but in the future, doesn't he?
Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not, permanent,
Okay.
So,
all right.
So we have a backup story, and this is a Silver Age. The story's from the Silver Age. It's on the Trail of Spider-Man, from Tales to Astonish, number 57. It's the July of 1964 issue of that periodical, and it's a Giant Man and a Wasp story, with Spidey as a guest star.
Mm-hmm.
So Stan Lee wrote this, Dick Ayers penciled it, and Paul Reinman did the inks. And so Giant Man and the Wasps, Hank and Janet, They're hanging out in his lab, and Egghead is plotting against Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Because Giant Man is also Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh god, that confused me to no end.
Did it?
Before? Well, not this time, but
because he changes identities. Yeah.
The Wasp she's too girlish for me. She's just too. You're gonna buy me a fur or rings? Oh, you get me some gizmo.
She's very materialistic and not very
material.
practical.
It's very girlish type.
She's
thing.
flighty and flippant and not very serious.
Right.
That's what she is.
Yeah, but not in a pleasant way. That could be fun. I guess maybe this was the norm and this would be fun, but I didn't think so. But she's a good sport, so she does okay. All right, we have the Egghead, not the Vincent Price classic character from the Batman show,
Right.
which I love. It's excellent. But,
well, Vincent Price is great in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he could read from the phone book.
Mm-hmm. He's a great guy in real life too.
Oh yeah, everybody loved him. I remember this thing Christopher Lee said about him. You know, he was great friends, of course, with Peter Cushing and other actors who were in a certain kind of movie together quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that Vincent knew absolutely everything about everything.
Huh.
But at the same time, he had this kind of personality that was never. And I'm not. This is no longer the quote of Christopher Lee, but he had the kind of personality where you didn't think like he was just being a show off or like, oh, I know better than you. He was just, he could talk about anything. You could have a conversation about all kinds of stuff, and he was very learned, very knowledgeable, as is Christopher Lee.
Yeah, he had a wonderful sense of humor. He had Sears selling original art, which is amazing.
Vincent Price.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful biography on Discovery, I guess. And
A&E.
Yeah, A&E.
Yeah.
And
I think I watched that.
Yeah, it was really cool. My favorite story, he went to see one of his movies, and he sat behind these teenage girls, and they're eating popcorn and screaming and all this stuff. And at the very end of the movie, he leans over and says, "Did you enjoy the film?" And they screamed.
Of course, because it's him. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. But what a great story.
Oh, yeah. I read a story online about some folks, they went and saw Man of Steel, and Terrence Stamp was at that showing, and they ran into him in the restroom, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Zod!" And they, like,
yeah. Don't hurt us, Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay.
So.
But cool.
So Egghead's plan is he's going to control. What is he going to do?
He wants to control ants. That's what he wants to do, so he can get rid of Ant/Giant Man.
Yeah.
So that's his big thing. And
yeah, but he also finds a way to pit Spidey and Giant Man against each other. Also, the Wasp's sting has been introduced, and this is a very prototypical thing. It's shooting compressed air, which is not exciting at all. Later, it would be a bioelectric like zap that she would actually send out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, compressed air, that's lame.
I can see that being. Well, I don't know. It wasn't lame in the movie No Country for Old Men.
I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, compressed air was used to horrifying effect in that movie.
Oh, God.
So,
I'm just thinking horrible things. I have no idea what it... But I can imagine. I've seen a lot of horror movies, so people do it.
It's not horrifying as in a horror movie. It's just horrifying in brutal manner. I don't know.
Right.
It's just... I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
All right, so Giant Man and / Ant-Man and Wasp think that Spider-Man is big trouble, and they gotta fight him. And let's see.
So they just go pick a fight with Spidey.
Yeah.
And it's at this time, Spidey is not like having the great. It's 1964. He doesn't have a great relationship with the police at this point.
He still has a hyphen.
The Spider-Man has always had the hyphen, mostly.
Has it? I
Yeah.
thought Spider-Man didn't have No, it does. Yeah. I thought he got rid of. Oh, okay. I am totally confused because.
The Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Some people write it without the hyphen, but they're doing it incorrectly.
I'll be darned. I've been doing it incorrectly.
It's okay.
My fault. Okay, so it didn't look right. So
that's why it needs the hyphen. Now, in Batman started out with a hyphen. But if you do,
that's what I'm getting mixed up.
But see, if you write Batman with a hyphen, it looks weird because we're so used to it without a hyphen now.
Okay.
So
All right, so okay, this recover from my grievous error. All right, so Giant Man's fighting Spider-Man. Spider-Man had some trouble with his wasp, and Egghead is happy. He is robbing a bank by well, he's robbing an armored car by putting the armored car into a truck, a bigger truck, which is, I don't know, that's an awful lot of trouble to go just to do that.
Yeah.
Why didn't he have the ants steal the money or something? I don't know. But supposedly the fight between the superheroes are
It's a distraction so that Egghead and his gang can go rip something off.
right.
Because all the cops in town will head over to where Giant Man and Spidey are fighting, which is actually a pretty good plan.
Not
Those
bad.
kinds of diversions, we've seen them before, but they work.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Egghead doesn't realize that the ants can tell Ant-Man that where he's located, and Spider-Man can figure out where he's at too.
How?
Has Spidey sense or something?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or something like that.
Okay.
So there's a big fight at the end. People trying to shoot Spider-Man and
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
It's
Who's
really
not-
interesting because Giant Man and Spidey, there's like 5 or 6 henchmen dogpiling on Giant Man, and he's throwing them around the room.
Mhm.
He and Spidey make short work of these guys, and Egghead.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is, Spider-Man hates the Wasp and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because Wasp and Spiders don't like each other.
Like
Which
their
is-
natural enemy. It's dumb, and their relationship would change, but it's kind of a funny thing to have in the comic.
Mhm.
Because Spider-Man is always played as the underdog, like, oh, he's an outlaw, and different things like that. He doesn't get a break, and that's kind of what you do with Spidey, at least in the 60s.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a pretty fun story.
Yeah.
But here's a very important story.
Probably the second most important Spider-Man.
What did
Or
we
maybe
just,
the third.
What would
The
you?
first one would be Gwen Stacy Dawn, I think.
Okay.
Maybe the first Spider-Man, maybe the second, and number 3 is Spider-Man No More.
Yeah.
And you can make an argument all among those 3, but I think those are the biggest.
They're definitely. I would say they should definitely all exist in like probably the top 5 Spidey stories. So.
I can't think of anything else.
Well, I mean, there's other ones. I mean, the death of Captain Stacy for one.
Oh, I hadn't read that one. I
Yeah.
didn't know that was for the movie or not, to tell you the truth. So
No, it was in the comics. Yeah.
okay. Yep.
That's interesting. The Stacys die essentially because of Spidey's top 2 enemies, Doc Ock
Mhm.
and the Green Goblin,
Mhm.
who were, to me, the Doc Ock is my favorite, and I like the Green Goblin a lot. But those two are like a cut above everybody else,
I
forever.
have not read a Doc Ock one. I think.
Really? We
the
do have
last
one
40
coming.
years.
We have one coming out.
Oh, good.
So, but yes, this is Spider-Man No More. It's reprinted from Amazing Spider-Man number 50, the July of 1967 issue. Written by Stan Lee, with art penciled by John Romita and inked by Mike Esposito. And this also is the first appearance of the Kingpin. So it really is a landmark issue.
Oh yeah, it should be the number 1 just for that. I love the Kingpin.
He's great.
He's very smart, which I like, and he's clever. I like clever in any kind of art, books, movies, whatever. Cleverness, I think, and real cleverness, not Hollywood cleverness, where they think of this plot that an 8-year-old could figure out or something. But Kingpin is really smart, and he's not just smart; he's also powerful. So it's a great dichotomy, or combination rather. And it just makes him really cool. And he's kind of classy.
Well, yeah, he's cunning, and he doesn't take any crap. If you mess with the Kingpin, your days are numbered. There's a lot going on for the character. He's very interesting.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of honor, and I've seen in later times. Anyway.
Yeah, and then I think much later he goes from being like a major Spider-Man villain to being like the number 1 Daredevil villain.
And those are great.
Yes, they are. And the relationship and the rivalry between the two of them, I think, is so immense. It's like it's almost like his stories with Spidey for the character, not that they're bad, but they're like Little League, and then when the Daredevil stuff is the major leagues, you know?
Yeah.
Or the minors, you know? So, I don't know.
That's great.
The level of storytelling graduates to this other plane when it's Kingpin and Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, but let's talk about this. Kingpin's plotting some white-collar crime, because that's his deal.
Okay.
And Spidey is fighting a bunch of guys. I love he hits a bunch of guys and wraps a door around 4 guys.
Yeah, that's cool. And the door stays in a door shape with a big hole in it. So
yeah.
And that is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, comes back. Aunt May needs him. So
surprise.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and so he
feels
sees
guilty about that.
About not being there for Aunt May. And then Jameson's on TV talking bad about Spidey. And Peter resolves, you know what, I'm going to give up being Spider-Man and take care of my responsibilities.
Yeah. Now you got Jameson after him on TV. And so he's walking down the famous alley.
And there's a great splash of Peter walking away from the costume, throwing a garbage can. And it's super classic. Yeah. This is also the cover of that issue as well. So then, the next day, a little kid comes running into Jameson's office, and he's got Spidey's uniform.
Yeah. I like Betty Brant tries to stop him.
Yeah.
And then he's mad at little kids in there, and he blames Betty Brant, and he shows what the costume.
And Jameson is so elated.
Yeah. And this is cool. I love seeing... superhero things in real life would be amazing, and people be talking about it all the time. I like seeing what the public's doing about them. What are they talking about? You know, what's about the Spider-Man? I can, you know, that is interesting. That is what Stephen King does too. He puts horror in
everyday situations,
right, which makes them utterly fascinating.
Yeah, he doesn't have it in some castle in Transylvania. He has it in Bangor, Maine. You know, or Castle Rock. Excuse me. Jameson goes on The Tonight Show with Ed and Johnny. He has the costume framed on his wall in his office.
There's this great little, some kind of meeting, like Meet the Press, something like that. And it's really fun.
Well, you see the guy with the pipe, it's supposed to be William F. Buckley Jr., only he doesn't have, he's balding in this, but...
No, that's a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay. But, I mean, it's one of those kinds of...
I wonder if the guy here with the big words...
That's probably Buckley. But, you know what I mean, whatever show he had.
Yeah, Firing Line.
Firing Line. That was an interesting... I think William F. Buckley is an interesting character, okay? Because, look, I'm a very liberal guy, and, okay, he's definitely was a conservative. But what I appreciated about William F. Buckley was he was an intelligent conservative voice. And you don't really see that so much now. They're just kind of like... these windbags that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
I like him. He's funny. And I don't know, pro-marijuana before it was cool.
William F. Buckley was, really. That's interesting.
Pro-legalization. Longest time.
Really? I didn't know that about
him. Let's see. All right. Aha. We see the Kingpin.
Yeah.
The back of him. And just the back of him looks impressive.
And he's just this enormous man.
Yeah.
And, Patch the Stoolie is spying on folks.
Yeah.
What's he up to? What's his game?
He's trying to figure out what's going on because a bunch of the...
the Underworld people are kind of uniting.
So they need to get together because Spider-Man's gone, so now we can raise hell and make lots of money.
Oh, that's right. And Foswell, as Patch, gets this brilliant but not really idea. Well, I'm going to ask the Kingpin to be my underling. Because he wants to be the big man again.
Yeah.
But the Kingpin settles his hash.
You know, I thought that was really stupid of Foz. That's the first stupid thing I've ever seen him do.
And it's kind of uncharacteristic because for a while until he screwed up, he was this powerful mob boss.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he should have said, "Hey, I can work for you." Then take over.
Right.
When you see, here's this. I don't know, what's the Kingpin, 500 pounds of pure muscle? Hey, I want to take over from you. Yeah, right. No.
Yeah.
Unless you had something. And
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
all he has is his brains, and
Yeah.
there's not that much of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's a stupid move on Foswell's part. No doubt about it.
Yeah. There's a great scene. Foswell's talking to Jameson, and Peter comes in, and he sees the
Costume
costume
in
and it's
glass.
really, and it freaks him out. And he says, "Oh, I can't look at this too long, or they'll think it's suspicious." And which is that is so true.
But the thing is, that's a new thing in his office. It's the first time Peter's been there since it's been up. Wouldn't you stare at it? Anybody would stare at it.
No. He's saying to himself,
I know.
I can't stare. And that is so well done and true. I'm impressed by that.
The self-consciousness of that.
Okay. Yeah. And he's true. He shouldn't stare at it very long. And so Peter's quitting the photography business, and that makes
Jameson.
No, Jameson's mad. What's this guy's name? Foswell. Yeah. I thought that was wrong. It didn't sound
Okay.
But Foswell is, Spider-Man quits and then Peter quits?
Yeah, so he's thinking that there's something going on here. And we'll that plot line will carry on with the next issue we'll read.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, I should say.
Okay, so Kingpin has a bunch of people rob stuff broad daylight.
Yeah.
And wonder what's going on. Nice little panel here of action going on.
Yeah, it's a montage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
Of different things happening rather quickly.
Yeah. I didn't know there was a comic book thing.
Well, I mean, it's a montage of time elapsing, and they were seeing many things happen in a single panel, and it's to give, this is happening over a course of days or whatever.
Term. I did not, or art term. Okay, cool. Kingpin planned that all, so make sure that Spider-Man had actually quit.
Right.
Now,
if there's a
cool.
big crime wave and it's all over the place, Spidey would turn up if he's around.
Yeah.
It's a smart plan to try and flush him out.
It's truly a smart plan.
Yeah. Because it's penny ante crimes, petty crimes, but it's enough attention grabbing that if Spidey was still in circulation, he would stop some of those crimes.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. And so the Kingpin's like, well, Spider-Man is history.
Right. All right, Gwen comes back, and Peter's kind of happy, so now he can go on a date. And, Mary Jane's here. Yeah, Mary Jane's acting. She's been smoking, Mary Jane. I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? I'm not sure.
She's rocking the leopard skin, though. But,
yeah, remember, she's the wild one. So
There's a great scene of Peter reading a book, and there's a robbery going on in progress. I mean, I gotta get up. Oh, I don't have to get up at all. That's not me anymore.
Yeah. But
but he sees a crime happening, so he helps out and beats crap out of people
in civilian clothes. Saves the night watchman, and the night watchman reminds him of somebody. He's old. He looks like Uncle Ben. And then remembered, wait a second, I have a responsibility. I let my selfishness or carelessness, or carefree attitude, let somebody else handle it. That's the reason Uncle Ben is dead.
Yeah, to get the origin story again.
Yeah. And so he's like, no, I have to be Spidey again. I can't give up being Spidey.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Foswell talks to Kingpin, and Kingpin
throws him out.
Yeah. The Kingpin does not make mistakes.
Kingpin has a cane that zaps stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So
Peter breaks into Jameson's office, steals his costume back, and waits for Jameson.
Yeah.
Puts his feet up on the desk.
Yeah, that's like the most insulting thing in the world.
Yeah. But wouldn't you love to do that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, don't you just envy Spidey in that moment?
Yeah. Especially against... Yeah, and you're not really hurting Jameson, you're just hurting his pride.
Which is perfect. And so he says he's going to go back in action. So, the next issue we've got to talk about... Oh, it's like 10 issues later, so surprise, he's already fought the Kingpin a couple times. It's going for a while. Because this is Amazing Spider-Man number 60 from May of 1968. And the story is called Oh, Bitter Victory. Written by Stan Lee. Layouts by John Romita, pencils by Don Heck, and inked by Mike Esposito.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. Kingpin's fighting Spider-Man. And that's a good fight.
Man.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Kingpin is really huge and mean and nasty, and it's really just great.
And I think the mistake a lot of people think is that, oh, he's just a big fatso. But I don't think it's either this one or an issue we've got coming up where it's revealed that, oh, he's like pure muscle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which kind of doesn't make sense because he does have a double chin, but whatever.
Well, double chin's maybe not muscle.
Yeah. But he is a very massively muscular man. And so anyway, he's been brainwashing Captain Stacy, Gwen's dad.
Yeah.
To get some police. You know why? It's so that he can control things in the police department to get him off his back.
Yeah. It looks like he's the first one they brainwashed or something. That's the impression I'm getting. And I would choose a beat cop before I do this.
Yeah, but maybe it was an opportunity. Oh, he's on the police force. He was able to get him.
Mm-hmm.
He's this old guy with a cane. It's easy to snatch that guy and brainwash him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in a position of power in the police department.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, I think.
Okay. Gwen and Mary Jane are at a party.
And Harry Osborn's there too.
Yeah. And Captain Stacy comes up and he looks kind of, I don't know, emotionless. And Spider-Man is, they wonder where Peter is, but Peter is actually Spider-Man, who is seeing double. He's really hurting. Because there's an explosion back at the fight. And that's all. But so, this is cool. Spider-Man is missing. He's jumping and missing and shooting webs and is missing. It's kind of...
I can't. Is he distracted or he's got something...
No, he's seeing double. So
oh, that's right. So why was he seeing double? From the fight? He got hit in the head? Okay.
And an explosion and blew him out. And
so he's having a tough time of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So he gets home and he had ducked out of the party and,
Right.
Flaky Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he goes, he sleeps on it and then he goes to see Captain Stacy and he hits Captain Stacy in his study.
Because Stacy's about to smack him one.
With the cane.
And so his Spidey sense, and then he comes back and he smacks Captain Stacy. And he really hurts him.
Yeah, and Gwen comes along and, well, you hit my dad? What's going on here? So she's really upset. She throws him out. Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is hard because, Peter and Captain Stacy, when he's not brainwashed, have a great relationship.
Yeah.
He loves Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
This is just tearing Peter up. What is he going to do? Because how could I ever explain this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Okay. So
and then the Kingpin's browbeating his underlings.
Yeah. Yeah, they're afraid of him. I don't know if I want to work. Yeah, that's why I wouldn't work for him. Maybe they don't have a choice, so. Aunt May's sick again. Yay. Oh, God. I don't know. They use that too much. That really annoys me.
So the Kingpin's henchmen come to Peter and Harry's apartment to rough up Peter because he knows something. They don't know what exactly.
Yeah.
And Peter wasn't there. So Harry tells him, look, he's not here.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Drama stuff.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. All right. At the... Kingpin sends Captain Stacy to get some information.
From, the crime lab.
Yeah. Spider-Man pops in. He has the camera going on. And they fight. And Captain Stacy has his picture taken ripping off the crime lab.
Yeah.
And,
so
Gwen is ticked off because there's exclusive photos by Peter Parker. Peter should have said, leave my name off these pictures.
Right. But they were credited in the Bugle. But they implicate Captain Stacy in criminal activity. But this is on the path to exonerating him or straightening him out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's it. Is that it?
Yeah.
I think so. Man, they're all good. Very good. There's little things about Spider-Man that irritate me, and then Aunt May getting sick all the time. It's a little bit too emo. but it wasn't that bad here. And I like that there's emotions, and he has
He has worries.
a
He has
teen,
things. People he cares
right,
about that are fragile.
right. But I think they overdo it sometimes.
Sure.
And maybe if I had read these when they came out once a month, it'd be okay. But I'm reading bam, 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 bam. And it's like, oh God. So
Sure.
they're wonderful, well drawn. Action's good. The villains are good, interesting. Kingpin is one of my favorite. I think he is my favorite Marvel villain.
Wow.
I cannot think of anyone I liked better. No.
Okay.
So he's Lex Luthor of Marvel.
To you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, he's almost exactly. They're both bald and smart.
Well, but it's different kinds of smart. Kingpin isn't a super scientist, and
Yeah.
he's not out to conquer the world. He's out to conquer the world of crime.
Right.
So,
I don't know. If someone left the world hanging out on the kitchen counter, he'd take it. But
yeah.
But he's
Yeah. I think one time he had a hand in the world domination game that I can recall, and he formed an alliance in a storyline called The Acts of Vengeance. Loki secretly got Kingpin, the Mandarin, Magneto, Doctor Doom, and the Red Skull all together as leaders in this whole operation to unite supervillainy and destroy the Avengers and everything. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It was one of those, and kind of early in the event kind of things that Marvel Comics would do. And I think it was like 1990 or 91. But it was cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's our show for now.
Okay. We'll see you in the funny pages.